Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to do the CV90, the infantry fighting vehicle that is, I believe, Swedish made. Um, I've seen a whole couple of different things on this. I've had people send stuff in the Discord and I've talked about it on other places, but the last weapon detective video that I did, I actually really liked over the Archer artillery system. So I wanted to jump into this one, the CV90. Let's do it.
The CV90 is currently one of the best tracked armored infantry fighting vehicles. For many, it is the top, as we agree. This vehicle offers excellent firepower, ballistic protection, and mobility altogether. As the weapon detective, we are investigating the CV90, an outstanding Swedish warrior. Please don't forget to
Yeah, and by the way, the reason I said that I believe it's Swedish made, obviously Sweden uses it, but there's weird stuff with the nationalities of different companies that have some sort of tech or something that, touches the weapons platform or system or whatever it is. And so a lot of them are technically made in one country but have some sort of interface or something from somewhere else or just something like that. So that was why I phrased it that way.
subscribe to our channel before we start, and give us a thumbs up if you like our video. To be notified of our new video, please click the bell button. Also, you can now click the join button to support our channel. And as always, we would greatly appreciate all the likes, comments, and shares. The CV90 takes its name from the abbreviation of Combat Vehicle 90, but it is known in its own country as Stridsfordon 90, shortly STRF 90. It is one of the best tracked armored infantry fighting vehicles today, and the CV90 do not intend to give up this title for a long time. In the early 1980s, the Swedish army had the PBV 302s. Even though they had a 20mm gun, these vehicles were just armored personnel carriers and not suitable for the infantry fighting vehicle role. So, in 1982, Sweden defined the requirements for a new tracked armored infantry fighting vehicle. Initially, other existing foreign systems were evaluated, but none of them could answer the requirements. 1 year later, Stockholm assigned Hägglunds and Bofors to develop a new vehicle indigenous.
I'm guessing they aren't creating these weapon systems in the 80s to fight the Danes.
These defense companies, which are now the parts of the BAE Systems, formed HP Utveckling as a joint venture for the job and finalized the design process in 1985. The company used the commercial off-the-shelf components as much as possible to reduce costs and save time. Initially, the Swedish Army had evaluated the options for the 25mm, 40mm, and 57mm guns. But when the prototype production phase began, the 57mm gun was abandoned. In 1986, Sweden ordered the prototypes for the STRF 9040 with a 40mm gun and the STRF 9025 with a 25mm gun. HP Utveckling produced 5 vehicles, but before delivery in 1988, the second version was cancelled. After the extensive trials, the CV90 entered the Swedish Army service in 1994. The first variant of the vehicle, defined as CV90 Mark 0 and produced for Sweden, had no gun stabilization and a
Damn.
Liran motor. Its Swedish Army designation was the STRF 9040 and it could carry 8 infantry. The second batch of vehicles, called STRF 9040A, have extensive chassis modifications and gun stabilization. This variant can carry 7 infantry. All STRF 9040s were upgraded to A standards later. The STRF 9040B variant has been optimized for use with the Stridsvagn 122 main battle tank. It is fitted with a new fire control software, an electric firing pin, a fully stabilized gun, and a gunner's reserve sight with a video camera. Also, its improved suspension provides better accuracy and crew comfort on the move. The modified STRF 9040B variant can fire the 3P programmable ammunition. It has spall liners inside the vehicle and climate control equipment. The STRF 9040C is the upgraded version of the vehicle for international operations. Its ballistic
There is absolutely a 1000% chance if you show that to somebody from World War II until I don't know, the 1980, 1975, somewhere around there, there's a 100% chance they say that is a tank. That is absolutely a tank. I don't know what y'all are trying to do with it or what role it's going to fill, but that is a tank. Look at that thing.
Ballistic protection is enhanced with the AMAP armor modules. The C variant also has laser filtering in all periscopes and better air conditioning. These modifications increase the combat weight of the CV90, which reduces the number of infantry carried to 6 and 40mm ammunition to 120. Unlike the previous variants, the secondary gun for the STRF 9040C is the KSP-58 machine gun instead of the KSP-39. The STRF 9040C Plus has a CAN bus and a new infrared camera. The CV90 Mark I is the variant used by Norway. It has several improvements, including a more powerful Scania engine, a new 2-person stabilized turret armed with the 30mm Bushmaster 2 chain gun, infantry headsets, and a higher protection. Furthermore, it has a NATO standard NBC
Those things are hauling ass.
filter. The vehicle is fitted with the UTAAS sighting system, effective for both air and ground targets while on the move. Later, Norway also modernized its CV90s with improved C4 ISR capability, enhanced mine protection, and rubber tracks. Besides, they now have the Kongsberg's protector with 360 degrees day and night sights. This remote control weapon station also gives the vehicle hunter-killer capability. Finland and Switzerland use the CV90 Mark II fitted with the 30mm Bushmaster 2 chain gun. The Swiss CV9030CH variant, also known as Schützenpanzer 2000, is 100mm higher over the front part of the hull and an additional 200mm over the combat compartment at the rear. It has a diagnostic system to assist in troubleshooting, which reduces repair time. The rear fighting compartment of the Finnish CV9030 Finn variant is even higher by an additional 100mm. They also have the Maxis add-on composite armor. Denmark and the Netherlands use the CV90 Mark III, the most advanced variant, currently in use. This variant has the 35mm Bushmaster 3 gun with the capability to fire programmable ammunition. It has higher protection against landmines and top attacks than the previous version. So the CV90 Mark III is equipped with a more powerful suspension and engine.
What is the defense for top attacks? What did they add to it to raise the defense of top attacks? That's something that I'm curious about. What it seems like happened, at least from an outside perspective, what it seems like happened was they found a platform, like a base model, that they really, really liked and worked well. And just said, okay, well, all of this different stuff that we need to do, or the different roles it needs to fill, all of that stuff, we'll just add and subtract from this base model, and we'll create all of these different variants of it. That way it can be, used by different countries, used in different roles, all of that. That's what it seems like they did. They found something they liked, and then we're like, okay, well, if we need it to do anything particular, or if there's something about it that, gets old or like is passed by tech, then we'll just upgrade it. We'll just pull something off, put something higher, higher grade on there, and then keep it moving.
Engine to keep mobility high. The Danish vehicles, also known as CV9035DK or Infantry Kamp Kriatoy, had the Maxis add-on armor kit. Later, Denmark acquired some 10K add-on modules and Alrod grill armors to equip its vehicles. 44 surplus Dutch CV9035
That looks awesome.
NLs were transferred to Estonia, whose vehicles are called CV9035EE.
We give our tanks ghillie suits. Not our tanks, but you get the point.
In 2016, the Netherlands decided to modernize its remaining vehicles with the Iron Fist active protection system, a mass-mounted 500mm extendable electro-optical sensor, the MAG machine gun in an external pod, and a twin missile launcher for the Spike LR2 anti-tank guided missiles.
God damn!
Furthermore, they will be equipped with rubber tracks, upgraded cooling, and various cybersecurity improvements, as well as updated command and control infrastructure. Their ballistic protection is also increased with the ROG-made roof and side protection kits. Currently, BAE Systems is marketing the CV90 Mark IV variant developed on the feedback from the 7 user nations. Its mobility, protection, and firepower are better than the previous models. This variant has a new 1000 horsepower Scania engine and the latest upgraded X300 heavy-duty transmission. The CV90 Mark IV has a new augmented reality system called iFighting, which fuses data from different systems within the vehicle to filter through and prioritize the most critical information.
I'm going to do a video on this at some point, but the new AR systems, the integrated weapon systems, the information they can take in, the sensors they have are really unreal. Like modern tech for this stuff is just absolutely incredible.
Thus, this system allows the crew to make quicker decisions to improve overall performance on the battlefield. The CV90 Mark II is offered to Czechia and the USA to replace the BMP-2s and M2 Bradleys. The Swedish motor carrier variant, called Granat Kastar Panzer Bandwagen 90 or GRK PBV 90, features a basketless turret that provides more space inside the vehicle. Its two 120mm PR AML mortars have a maximum range of 8,000 meters. The Norwegian CV90 multi-BK mortar carrier has a single 81mm L16 mortar with a 5,650 meters range. The Luftwaffe Kanonwagen 9040, shortly LVKV 9040, used by Sweden, is the self-propelled anti-aircraft variant of the CV90 family. The vehicle has the TRS 2620 search radar, which can detect an air target within 14,000 meters range and identify it within 8,000 meter range. It can fire the 40mm 3P programmable ammunition. Also, the forward command, forward observation, recovery, command and control, combat engineering, driver training, and reconnaissance variants are in use. The Armadillo Armored Personnel Carrier, Panzer Bandwagen 90 Electronic Warfare Vehicle, CV90-105 and STRF-90-120, CV90-120T light tanks, Stridsvågen 9040-56 Armored Infantry Fighting Vehicle with the RB-56 anti-tank missiles, and the motor carrier with the Amos turret are the non-serial variants. Besides, the Polish PL-01 light tank is developed based on the CV90-120T. Denmark, Estonia, Finland, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and Switzerland are users of the CV90.
Okay, so they do have a light tank variant. I figured they did. It looked like it would fill too much of a role of a light tank to not have it be a light tank.
The three-person crew of the CV9040C consists of a commander, gunner, and driver. The vehicle, which can also carry 6 infantry, has a length of 7 meters, a width of 3.42 meters, and a height of 2.75 meters. Its combat weight is 28 tons. The 540 horsepower Scania DS14 diesel engine provides a road speed of 70 km per hour. Its maximum range is 600 km. The CV9040C can negotiate 1 meter vertical steps and 2.4 meter trenches. It can fort to a depth of 1.2 meters. Its armament consists of one 40mm Bofors L70BC gun and one 7.62mm KPS-58 machine gun, the licensed production variant of the MAG. Sweden has chosen a 40mm Bofors L70BC because it can penetrate the side armors of many modern main battle tanks.
Some of those older Bofors are awesome. I looked at one just the other day in regards to, it may have been World War II, and it may have been AA guns. I'm trying to think. I've been looking at so much Swedish military stuff lately that it's all starting to run together. But I specifically remember looking up the specs of a Bofors gun that I want to say was World War II, and it was anti-aircraft, and it was freaking awesome.
Also effective against helicopters. The elevation depression angle of the main gun of the early models of the STRF 9040 is -8 plus 35 degrees, while for later models, -8 plus 27. The 40mm Bofors L70BC with 2000 meters effective range has two firing modes. The single shot mode with 60 rounds per minute rate of fire and the automatic fire with 300 rounds per minute.
Damn.
The STRF 9040's A and B variants carry 234 ammunition. The rate of fire.
I was wondering when they showed the shooting earlier, and it was showing it going on repeat. I was wondering if they had a way to single shot it, or if you just sprayed every time that you wanted to shoot.
For the 30mm Bushmaster 2 is 250 rounds per minute with an effective range of 3000 meters. The CV90 variants carried 430mm rounds. The 35mm Bushmaster 3's rate of fire is 200 rounds per minute. The CV9035's ammunition capacity for the main gun is 203. The A and B variant STRF 9040s have the 7.62mm KSP-39, the licensed production variant of the M1919A4. These machine guns will be replaced by the KSP-58s as on the C version. The Finnish vehicle has the 7.62mm PKMT instead of the KSP-39. Also, the Danish and Norwegian uses the MG3 and the Dutch uses the MAG. The Swiss CV9030CH have the 7.5mm MG51. The CV90's hull provides all-around protection against 14.5mm armor-piercing rounds, but the ballistic protection level of the frontal arc is still classified. It is estimated that it is resistant against the 30mm armor-piercing rounds. It has a low profile, compact size, minimal radar and infrared signature, low noise level, and reduced vulnerability to electromagnetic pulses. These features increase battlefield survivability. The Swedish variants have the Galax soft-kill active protection system. The CV90's fuel tanks are outside the crew compartment and have been armored against the internal and external risks to increase survivability. Currently, all CV90s in use are fitted with a spall liner. Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway, and Switzerland use cameras to monitor the surroundings, which raise the situational awareness. The first use of the vehicle in a combat mission was by the Swedish UN forces in Liberia in 2004. Sweden deployed the STRF 9040C variant into this country. Besides, Norway and Denmark deployed their CV90s in Afghanistan. They fiercely fought heavy combat in this country against the Taliban. In 2008, under heavy machine guns and RPG fire, the Norwegian vehicles managed to repulse the attacks without casualties. In 2010, a CV9030 hit a large IED and a Norwegian soldier lost his life. In April 2010, two Danish vehicles hit IEDs, but they successfully protected their crew from the attack. But in another incident in August of the same year, the CV9035DK hit an IED and two Danish soldiers lost their lives. The key to the CV90's success is its open-ended design. The vehicle can be easily configured and improved depending on the customer's demands. Also, it is easy to be...
Yeah, that was what I was talking about earlier. It seems like they just found a really good base model, and then it's done in a way where it can be switched up at the snap of a finger.
Upgraded. Since the beginning, the CV90's ballistic protection has constantly been enhanced variant by variant. But to save the optimum power-to-weight ratio, the power pack and suspension have also been updated easily. Except for the Netherlands and Switzerland, all of its users are the Scandinavian or Baltic countries. Because this vehicle is specifically developed for the Nordic subarctic climate, the CV90 offers good mobility in the snow and wetlands of the region. Sweden has been open to industrial cooperation. Nearly all CV90 users produce some subsystems of the vehicle, include...
What I'm wondering is, were they nervous about sending it over to Afghanistan? Because from everything that I've read, it performed really well in the desert. But surely they weren't making it for the desert, like I talked about in the Gripen video, or at least I think it was the Gripen video. Sweden has this like thought process and kind of military outlook where they sort of like zero in designs for what they feel like they would need it for, which is fighting on home turf. And so a lot of their stuff is focused in to perform really well in the weather and terrain and all of that of Sweden, which makes sense to me. That seems smart to me. But having them go be sent to other countries, having those countries take them out to the desert, I wonder if Sweden particularly had a close eye on that to see like how they would do, how they would perform out there. Like I said, from everything I've read, they performed really well. I just wonder if that's something they were keeping an eye on.
Including the turret under license. Also, they could choose the weapon systems and electronics that suit them. This approach has helped its market success. This Swedish warrior has won almost all the tender it participated in, except in the UK. The British Army chose the ASCA 2 based Ajax over the CV90, but many experts have expressed their reservations about this decision since the beginning. We should add that the Ajax is still struggling with many technical problems. As the weapon detective family, we have to admit that we may lose some neutrality about the Swedish systems we love. But many experts are no different from us in regards to the CV90. It is nearly 30 years old, but it is still one of the most prominent Western trucked armored vehicles. Thanks for watching our video. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to be notified of our new videos. Also, you can now click the join button to support our channel. And as always,
Honestly, that's okay. So, first off, I really like the way he lays out videos. It's easy to follow. He puts a lot of data on the screen when he does the old school computer looking screen. So, I like that. Also, there is this not really thought process, it's more like it just works. It just works for how much money the world combined spends on military equipment. There are some old or older pieces and platforms that really work well. They really hold up against time. And obviously they've had updates and things of that sort, but you know, this is one of the things that the F-22 gets patted on the back for. Is like you have pilots today that are like, no, I'd rather fly the F-22 than the F-35. And it's like the F-35 is brand new. The F-22 is old. I mean, by modern standards and by how quick technology is changing. But some of the old systems just hold up well, and that's what it seems like here. It's just it holds up well. It fills the role that it needs to fill, and any upgrades you need to make to it, you can make to it. You don't have to start from scratch. The the issues that it has that are like because it's older technology can be fixed with the same machines. It doesn't take an entire new design of machine in order to cover that tech gap. So yeah, really interesting to me. Remember, if you have any other suggestions for things to look at, I love this stuff. I'm a sucker for it. So put it in the comments, or you can put it on the Discord. There's a channel over there on the Discord that's specifically for YouTube recommendations. And there's a lot of Swedes over there already. So I'll put that link in the description box below, and I'll see you all next time.